Hello guys, my name is Nigora and I work as an English teacher in X Academy. I'm very happy to greet you in this video where I will give you the primer knowledge about writing and explain you the basics of the course. In this sphere, I work for 5 years already and have helped lots of students to get the score of their dream, from 6 to 8. My personal IELTS score is 8 and I'll do my best to show you how to be the same. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the course. You are given a choice to pick from 3 provided tariffs: Single, Squad and Pro. In single mode, you are given an access to all of the lessons and the materials, but you will have to work on your own. In Squad, you are given a curator who will help you all the time and give you answers to all of the questions you will have. And in Pro mode, you are given 2 curators who will also help you with everything you need, but they will give you more attention and the materials are multiplied. There are 36 lessons in a month. Each lesson will give you a detailed information about listening, reading and writing. We use a new method of presenting information when the lessons are short but effective, which will help you to perceive the information in a better and easier way. There are 36 lessons in a month. Each lesson will give you a detailed information about listening, reading and writing. We use a new method of presenting information when lessons are short but effective. And judging from our experience, this method works because now you can study English every day and don't get tired. And also, let's not forget about speaking. Pro students will have their speaking lessons with their curator, whose personal IELTS is at least 7, 3 times a week, when they will make their speech perfect. Well, now guys, let's turn to the lesson itself, and today we will be talking about writing task 1, named map. So, the question is, what is map? Maps is the thing that we usually see in our everyday life. Even at school we see it, in university, even Google Map is the same. So, map is something that we know already, and even on listening we have it. We have plain labeling, map labeling, but of course there are some changes into it. So what is map on IELTS writing? This is the easiest type of task you can have on your real IELTS exam. Yes, for some people, especially for new ones, it can seem a little bit overwhelming because, let me show you, it looks a little bit too much. We have too many items we have to describe, but don't worry, if you know the structure, if you know how to do everything step by step, it will be really easy for you, because frankly speaking, the only thing you have to do is to find difference and describe them. So easy, guys. Today I will show you how we will do it. And first of all, what is map on IELTS writing? The map will be of the same location at different times. For example, it will show you the layout of town in 1995 and in present. Or sometimes it can show you the same town or building or street in present and in the future. Mostly we have past and present rather than present and future, because this is how the examiners made the tasks. Today we will show you the task about the village. The maps below show the village of Stockport in 1930 and 2010. As you see, here we have the map of the past and present. Let's think that 2010 is present. Of course, for now in 2023, it's a little bit not true, but still. So past and not really close present. What do we see here? As it was described in the task below, it is the village, the layout of the village, and we will have to find the differences. For example, how it was before and how it is now. What was changed, what was added, what was improved. Basically it we will have to describe today. Please remember the requirement that you have only 20 minutes to do this task, and you have to meet the bare minimum of 150 words. Usually, let me tell you the truth, you don't really have 20 minutes, you have only 18 minutes if we consider that you have to count every word, if you have to double check everything. So only 18 minutes of, unfortunately. So keep it in mind because time management is crucial. About the requirement, the word count, 150 words, it's not the word count which will guarantee that you will get 7. No, it's something that will guarantee you the minimal result. Something like 5.5, 6. And no one wants this score, so we have to do a little bit more. But please don't overdo, because a lot of people write more than 200 words, which is not fruitful too, because you spend too much time on it. Remember that apart from task 1, you have task 2, which is more important, because 60% of the score depends on your writing task 2, but remember that writing task 1 is as important. So let's find the golden middle. Yeah, we should write 170, 80 words. It will be perfect. Not too much, not too less. So let me read it again. The maps below show the village of Stockport in 1930 and 2010. 20 minutes, 150, 170 words. Okay, let me show you the structure. There are steps to writing a high-scoring IELTS map essay. First of all, you have to analyze the question, identify the main features, and the main features is the key information. This is the base of your essay. Write an introduction, write an overview, write the detailed paragraphs. So structure is easy. The structure is always the same. All essays on IELTS exam consist of 4 paragraphs. Introduction, overview, first main body, second main body. It differs a little bit in writing task 2, but today we will not talk about it. Let's focus on writing task 1. Usually there is an option for us to write introduction first, 2 main bodies, and then overview, but most of people write introduction first, then overview to summarize the main points, and then only describe them in 2 different paragraphs. We will follow this structure today because it's easier. Okay, what is an introduction? Introduction is the basic information, is something that we will just only have to paraphrase the task. So, let me show it to you first, where it is, here. The maps below show the village of Stockport in 1930 and 2010. This is our question. This is something which was already given to us. Now we only have to paraphrase it. Just use this different words, different structures, but the same information, the same content. So, for example, the 2 maps illustrate how the village of Stockport, situated on the east bank of the river Stoke, changed over an 80-year period from 1930 and 2010. What is different here? As you see, this is one of the biggest and trudest mistakes, to write down the word below when you basically do not show anything below your essay. Your examiner only gets your written task. The examiner doesn't have a diagram on your answer sheet, so it is a very bad mistake to write down below. Okay, so no belows. Next, show. Usually in all of the tasks on IELTS, they write down show. It will be a little bit too easy for us to write down the show. We used to avoid the words that have already been used. But obviously some words are not replaceable, so we only have one option here. But show we can replace in many ways. Illustrate, demonstrate, display, a lot of other words. So here we use the word illustrate because we usually use this word with maps. Yeah. This is this type of diagram which requires this word. 2 maps illustrate. They added the word to, and it's obvious, yeah, the obvious observation. How the village of Stockport, here, this is a great trick, situated on the east bank of the river Stoke. This is the assumption. We don't have it in the original question, but we can add it because, as you see, it is kind of obvious. Because look at the map once again. we have the river Stoke, and everything which is illustrated on the diagram will be of help. If something is shown, you should put it into your essay. So yes, it is obvious that it is situated by the river Stoke. You can add it just to enhance your word count. Next, changed over an 80-year period from 1930 to 2010. Here, they just say that the maps show the village. Here, we show that there were changes which were obviously made, and we will have to pinpoint them. Please remember that in your writing task 1, you don't write you write an overview and you don't write a conclusion. Okay, this is how we do the introduction. You can use different words, you can use different structures, but if you are new to writing, just start from replacing the words with its synonyms. Okay, so see the change and assume. Educated assumption is not a mistake. Okay, next, after step 2, what do we have to do? So we will now have to identify the main features. The main features is something that we can see vividly, the surface level information which we do not have to ponder about too much. So we will have to look at the map and find something very evident, so it will be easy for us to describe. Start with the earliest map, identify the key features and look to see how they have changed in the later map and again in the final map if there are 3. Usually we only have 2, don't worry. Here are some useful questions to ask. What time periods are shown? 1930, 2010 in our case. What are the main differences between the maps? So, which features have disappeared? What new features are in their place? Let's see what the main features here. The farmland has been built on, the school has been enlarged. The large house has been converted into a retirement home, the shops have disappeared. Let's see if it's true or not. So, as you see here, starting from the earlier map, we start from the top of the map because it's logical, yeah? The bridge stayed the same. Okay, next. They used to have a farmland in 1930, but there is no such a thing in 2010. So farmland, mark it, mark everything you see on your map. You are allowed to do everything with your question booklet as long as it's not your answer sheet. Next, we see that the amount of housing has been increased. We only have this small area for houses, for apartments, and now we have so many of them. This small thing is house. Look, they had only here, now they have here as well. After that, we go down and we see shops. Shops been replaced with the apartments once again. Post office is still at the same place. It is really important to not only talk about the differences, but about the similarities too. Next, primary school is also staying the same, but instead of farmland, it is surrounded by the housing again. Going down, we see that there is no farmland to the western part, closer to the river Stoke. Now it's again only apartments, and now instead of the gardens and large house, there is no information about what this house was about, just large house. Now in 2010 it's retirement home. So something was converted into something. And yes, going down we see that there are just more apartments. So what main feature can we see here? First, a large increase of housing. Housing facilities were increased significantly. Next, farmland was diminished. And the large house was changed into the retirement home. And also that the post office and primary school stayed the same. These are the main features for me. You can find your own, and if it's easier for you to describe, then it will work. Remember that on IELTS there is nothing wrong or right. It's something that's easy for you and hard for you, okay? Next, after analyzing the map, what do we have to do? We have to start writing. Now, only now, we will do our overview. So, In the second paragraph, you should describe the general changes that have taken place. The detail comes later in the essay. So as now I have just mentioned the details for you, the changes, you have to write them down. There was considerable development of the settlement over these years, and it was gradually transformed from a small rural village into a largely residential area. The key point here is that village has transformed from a rural village, small rural village, into a largely residential area. So in one word, we can call it urbanization. So urbanization has taken place. 2 sentences would be better than 1 for the second paragraph, but we will be getting into the detail if we say more about these maps at this point. So we'll leave the overview in as 1 sentence. Yes, don't worry if you have written your overview in just 1 sentence. It's no biggie. It's just, it has to be complex and long. Next, after that, you have to write your main bodies. Main bodies is the detailed information about that what you have mentioned above in your overview. Paragraphs 3 and 4 of your IELTS map essay are where you include more detailed information. In paragraph 3, you should give evidence to support your first and second key features. So main feature, the farmland has been built on. We have already figured it out that there is no more farmland on the map. As you see, I crossed out. Yes, okay, next. The school has been enlarged. Yes, as you see, in the first one, it was small primary school. Now it's larger. And we now have to write it. So look at this paragraph. Paragraph 3 is the body one when we talk about first and second main features. The most notable change is the presence of housing in 2010 and the areas that were farmland back in 1930. New roads were constructed on this land and many residential properties built. In response to the considerable increase in population, the primary school was extended to around double the size of the previous building. As you see, they didn't do anything. They just simply stated the changes. That's all. The only hard thing here will be not repeating yourself. It is a very annoying mistake when you repeat the same words. If you don't know the synonym for it, just skip it, okay? Next, this is how we do it. So as you see, they talked about farmland, they talked about the roads, school, and yes, and how it has enlarged. Next, moving on to the second main body, we will have to describe this third and fourth, or second and fourth main features. The large house has been converted into a retirement home. The shops have disappeared. Okay, so is it true? Let's check with the map. Look, shops have disappeared and a large house has been converted into a retirement home. Okay, now let's describe it. We should use other words, but basically the same information. Nothing very special about it. So, whilst the post office remained as a village amenity, the 2 shops that can be seen to the northwest of the school in 1930 no longer existed by 2010, having been replaced by houses. Please look at this word, northwest. Why am I telling this to you? Because usually we describe the maps with 2 terms, using the horizon or using top, bottom, left, right. Here we have the small picture of a compass, which gives us a hint that we have to use north, east, west, south part of the earth, yeah? So they said northwest because the compass is given for us here, so we have to use this wording, not left, right, okay? Of course, sometimes you should, because you don't want to repeat yourself, but mostly use the horizon parts. Okay, so there also used to be an extensive property standing in its own large garden situated to the southeast, again, you see, southeast of the school at some time between 1930 and 2010. This was extended and converted into a retirement home. This was another significant transformation for the village. And this is it. For some people, it is strange to finish your essay in this way. That's why a lot of people write down the overview as the last paragraph. But if it sits well with you, finish it like that. We mentioned everything, so don't worry about it. Okay, so about grammar and a lexical resource. Remember that your cohesion is important, that your lexical resource is important, your grammar is important as well, not only context. Okay, here, as you see, they use only complex sentences. This you can do with such words as while, whilst, or other things, or using the words as, yeah, or you can use a lot of passive voice. We usually do not use personal pronouns. We do not use active voice that much as we do the passive. We should use the formal style or semi-formal, but usually formal. It will be better because it is academic IELTS writing. That's why we have to follow the formal style. And passive voice is the best way to use it, to showcase your grammar, because a lot of people still struggle with passive voice, which is fine, but you can learn it always. Okay, and using the words. Here are some words that can be helpful for you when you write the writing map. Remain, which means stays, like didn't change. Replace, exist, stand, situated, extended, added, or something like that. Next, or you can use these words here. You can always find the lexical resource not only from some special books, but the best way to find the words you can use in the future is from sample answers. That's why my biggest advice for you, work a lot with sample answers. Here, what we can see. Change, next. Build, obviously. Increase, extend again. Double in size. These words were not being taught to anyone. We just find them in sample answers and then we just use them. So let me summarize the information I have given to you. In order to write a great map task, you have to analyze the map, you have to find the main features and then describe them using this structure. First, in introduction, you should paraphrase the question already given to you on your question booklet, then write an overview using the main features that you have already found, but not describing them, but just mentioning them in your paragraph, using 1 or 2 sentences, but complex. Next, after that, using the same main features, you have to describe them in your main body 1 and main body 2. You have to describe the major differences or similarities. And this is basically it. So, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm sure that I will be seeing you on my course when I will give you more and more information regarding not only writing, but listening, reading, speaking, and also other questions that you have for me. Again, thank you for watching. I will see you guys. Bye bye.